It's 2020. You've probably been wondering where this has been. It's been a very long time since I've released a Coot video. And technically, the last time I released a Coot video, it wasn't even when it was taking place. It was from spring. Well, I just want to let everyone know the Coot is back in operational condition. Since the last time you've seen the Coot, we've built a new seat. The old one had rotted and was falling apart. It's got a new starter. The old one kicked the bucket, partly my fault. It's got a new exhaust. No longer is there that crazy snake that came all the way around. Now, I had someone fabricate this. I mocked one up with a 3D print here, and then I made it all from PVC pipe, and then I gave it to him, and he made the whole thing. So that exits out the side to a new flex pipe. This one's stainless steel, unlike the old one. It's already eaten one shirt. Ignore the excessive amounts of zip ties. That's just sort of temporary, well, until it breaks. Holding up the muffler there. Old battery's dead. I replaced it with a battery that's actually a spare for the Tundranizer snowblower. But it's a little overkill, doesn't fit in the box, but sure starts real fast. Let's see, anything else new? New starter, new seat, new exhaust, new battery. Yeah, this needed a lot of little things to get it back and going and operational again, but she's running great now. However, that's not the only reason I haven't been around. Something else has happened. So, what else is new, you may ask? Well, I've got a surprise for you. Another Coot. So, this is my second Coot. This channel now has two. The new Coot. So the new Coot is literally the new Coot. I believe it is a 78, which puts it approximately a decade newer than my old Coot. It's in a lot better condition as far as like rust and so forth. So it's got a V-twin, Bridge & Stratton. I enjoy the craftsmanship of the previous owner who managed to get this in here without raising the seat height very high. 16 horse, which makes it almost twice as fast as the other Coot. If anything, too fast. I had a little bit of an issue with it after I got it here. It ran flawlessly when I picked it up, purchased it, but oh, my camera's dying. I'm gonna have to switch to a different camera. Well, this video has now transformed into a GoPro video due to the decreasingly short lifespan of the batteries in that very old camera I've been using to film for half a decade. Oh well. So, new Coot. So the new Coot, decade newer than the old Coot. 16 horsepower, already mentioned that. Where was I? A lot more sophisticated than the old one in many ways. This one has working lights. Cool, right? And two electric winches. One in the front and one in the rear. So, I mean, the rear winches are really where it's at. I've never winched my Coot out from the front. If I've ever actually gotten stuck, wherever I was driving, you couldn't keep going forward, so it made more sense to go backwards. So it's nice that this has one in the front and the back. It actually has a dynamo or whatnot on the engine, so it charges the battery, unlike my Coot, which you just charge every time due to the fact that the Yanmar's dynamo is kaput or been disassembled for so long. I'm not going to go in there and mess with it. It's just easier to charge the battery every time I'm done with it. Body's in really good shape. Previous owner put this sweet like propane tank cover that sticks out the side that allows you to actually get out the oil filter for the Vanguard Bridge & Stratton. If you're doing one of these conversions and you're using the Vanguard, I suppose you can get away and actually use the stock brake by moving the engine over to the left far enough, but then you need to bump out the side of the hull so you can get at the oil filter. Modified exhaust heat shield or something along the lines of that for a chain guard. It really needs to be improved because there's quite a bit of chain still exposed underneath it. yeah, I'll flip up this. Actually, I'm not going to pull that out because you'd have to undo the air filter, which is sort of funny. I mean, you can wiggle around, but I can't do it with one hand. So when I got this, it was running amazing. It has this sweet crash fuel explosion proof tank in the back, you know, as if you're going to really need that in a Coot. But it has one. The problem was I was not getting any fuel flow when I was going up and down hills. Here in Vermont, everything is hills. I mean, you're always going up and down hills. So right now it's jerry-rigged. I've got this little tiny two-stroke gas tank, filled obviously with regular gasoline. This fuel pump, a lithium polymer battery that runs it, and once I put that on there, runs absolutely perfect. So that was a small fix to an annoying problem. I'll do something more permanent later, but as of now, I just put that on there last night and got it running right. You can't actually put the fuel pump down here. You have to have it lower than the tank, or these are more like pushers than pullers. The problem is all the fuel line is brass, and I don't have the tools to cut that. And realistically, I wasn't going to go through all that effort if it wasn't actually the fuel pump that was the problem. These use a vacuum fuel pump, and the Vanguards that is, and I just don't think it was strong enough, or it just wasn't working. It was above fuel line, and it just wasn't pulling hard enough. But with this setup, it runs great. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got, I'm not going to pronounce this right. They're kind of the popular Coot tire, the Titan, where are they? True Power. Wait a second, I thought these were Carzile. Maybe they're not. Huh. Well, whatever. They are the popular 29-inch tall big Coot tire you see sometimes on Coots. A lot fatter than the tires I have on my Coot, but they're also a little bit shorter. It actually looks like they're taller right now, or bigger, but they're not. Height-wise, that is. When I originally purchased this, the tires are really way too wide, and they were rubbing like crazy on the body, to the point where you really couldn't turn without rubbing them on the body. So a quick, easy solution was to just put on these spacers, these aluminum spacers. I feel like whistling diesel with these big 2-inch spacers on here, but they work pretty good. Seeing as some Coots came with those big 31 by 15.5-inch ginormous Terra tires, and they actually had the rim running inside out with all that off spacing, I feel like 2 inches is probably not a problem for the Coot. So it is a little tougher to steer, but now I can clear the tub unless I'm really yanking on the wheel. I'll probably put in some stops like I have on this Coot. See these guys in here? You thread them in, and then they hit the body, so your tires don't actually hit the body. Works amazing, but this machine doesn't have any, which is kind of interesting. This machine also is a conversion. It is not originally four-wheel steer. Yes, both are four-wheel steer. If you're getting a Coot, do the conversion. Trust me, four-wheel steer is amazing. Yeah, it's done pretty well, but it's definitely not original. You can tell, if anything, by these crudely cut rectangles in the tub, unlike my model, which has the factory original. Where are they? Nice round ones. Yeah, I got lots of nice toe points. It has a trailer hitch in the back, like mine did, but I took mine off due to the fact that it was just one more thing to drag on the ground. Yeah, it's exciting. So because it's gas, I'll be using this more in the winter than my diesel Yanmar with no glow plug, because that thing is borderline impossible to get turned over once you drop below 20 degrees. It's really nice today, 40, so it was no problem. But the Vanguard shouldn't have that issue. But yeah, let's turn it on and you can see what it's like when I'm driving it. One thing I do have to fix is there's a lot of water in this wheel, this tire. And it's warm today, but I'm sure it's going to freeze. I mean, like halfway filled to the top with water. When I took it off, you can hear it sloshing around. It's so heavy. I have no idea how that happens. Like, someone purposefully put water in it, because none of these tires leak air. They're brand new tires. Oh, it's really weird. Just this one tire. Should get a good sense of just how much faster this machine is than the other. Also, how much unbelievably more quiet it is. This machine is so quiet. And all it's got is this little bottle can like muffler at the end. Also, this machine does not have the torque adjustable CVT. It's speed. It's the old school one, so it's not quite as smooth as the other Coot as far as sort of like getting on the power. And as a comparison, here is the original Coot with the Yanmar diesel in it. I hope you liked that comparison between the two new Coots, or I should say the new Coot and the old Coot. I know it was pretty boring, me just driving around in my front yard, but that was actually the first time I got to experience both of them running at 100%. It was interesting because the diesel Coot, in my opinion, is far more nimble and stares on a, well, it doesn't stare on a dime. It has a much wider turning radius, but it feels a lot more controllable, if only because perhaps the steering is so much lighter. You probably saw just how much tighter that new Coot with the wheel offsets can get around in a circle. It took this entire space, I'd say, what, 30 feet? 30-foot turning radius for the diesel Coot, and I'd say about 50% less than that with the new Coot with the wheel offsets. Since I was able to get around without hitting the camera, and I wasn't even close with the diesel Coot. The new Coot, you also have noticed, is so much faster. It's got so much power that in second gear, it still manages to climb and pull itself through stuff, even without the torque-sensitive clutch. That may be an upgrade in the future. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting to see these two machines out at Midway, out on all the class 4 roads I take them up. Now that I have a backup machine, I can go a little bit further, be a little bit more confident that I can get one machine out if something goes wrong with it. You know, being that no other machine is going to probably go where they go. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for being patient and waiting for my update. But you can see that I've been fairly busy. Oh, also new brake handle on the diesel Coot. I'll show that off next time. I centered it so that when you pull down, it doesn't torque to one side. Works way better now. All right, until next time, peace. And don't forget to like and subscribe.